Please welcome this week's special guest, Nicola. So, Ben, first of all, what is Nicola to you?
This is Nicola, and she taught me how to talk to crows.
Henning, how do you know Nicola?
This is Nicola, and I told my parents to take her as my babysitter because she failed to read my bedtime stories with enough emotion.
And finally, Lee, your relationship with Nicola.
This is Nicola. I once chased her for 40 miles down the M3 because I thought she'd stolen my phone.
David's team, where to begin?
So, Ben, why did you need to talk to crows?
Because, well, I'm writing a book, and
My publisher is a crow.
and it's a book about aliens. So I got interested in the idea of communicating with other intelligences. Then I thought, are there any animals on Earth that we can communicate with? And I found out that Nicola was an expert on crows and had discovered they're very intelligent.
So what sort of thing have you learnt to say to crows?
Well, we're only really at the basic sort of introductory.
Like Green's like, hello, how are you?
Take me to your leader.
How to present yourself to a crow.
How do you present yourself to a crow?
So you go,
Hello, crow. Hello, crow. How are you, crow? Hello. Hello.
So that's what Nicola has been teaching you. That's how you talk to crows. You do that with your head and you go, hello, crow. How are you? Hello. When's your next lesson? When you'll be how to say goodbye to a crow. I've got a hunch about what it might be.
Right, David, who would you like to move on to?
Henning, what was wrong with the bedtime story?
I didn't enjoy the way she read the bedside story to me.
What sort of stories? Give us an example.
She was reading Hansel and Gretel to me, and then the witch ends up in the oven. And she read that in a very compassionate way.
Towards the witch.
Yeah, and the good thing at that point is all about the witch got what she had coming, and that's how I like the story read to me.
You didn't like any complexity in the character.
No, I
of
like the
witch. The witch
complexity.
is
I don't like the compassion towards the witch because she's a witch.
Okay, so Hansel and Gretel shoved the witch in the oven, slammed the door, turned it up to gas mark 6.
No, always preheat the oven before cooking a witch.
Let's assume it's preheated.
OK.
Slam the door, turn it up, and then walk out into the forest. How did she misdeliver that line?
Well, it was in German, so it was like...
Is she German?
Nicola, yeah.
Ah.
You mean yeah?
Yeah.
Nicola's a classic German name, isn't it?
Nicola. Nicola Schmidt.
So she was what, weeping for the witch, or what? What's...
I don't want to have to say this now, but I just didn't overly like her. That's obviously not how I told it to my parents, isn't it? I said to my parents, I said, yeah, she didn't put any butter on the bread and all that business, and didn't get me anything to drink, so, I mean...
So what did you do? I stuck her in the oven.
OK, what about Lee?
Oh, Lee's is not true. So, how did you come to the mistaken belief that she'd stolen your phone?
Well, it's an interesting story. I was on the board of Czechoslovakia. I was in a restaurant with my wife and children, and we left the restaurant and we got back to the house, and I suddenly realised my mobile phone was missing. So I thought... we came to the conclusion that my 2-year-old, who's always picking things up and running around tables because, you know, I'm not a good parent and they can run around in restaurants, had picked it up and had done something with it. And so I looked at my iPad which has a thing on it where it tells you where your phone is, an app, if you've lost your phone. So I press that.
You looked at your tablet, didn't you? As opposed to a specific.
Oh, as opposed to a specific one. Sorry, I looked at my tablet, which I'd previously bought from Curry's. So I decided I've got one of these handheld devices. Let's call it a tablet. And on this tablet, it tells you where your phone is.
Like an iPad.
Can I...
So I checked the app, and sure enough, my phone was doing the little blinky thing, and it was in a street not too far from the restaurant. So I thought, oh, well, maybe my child hasn't taken this phone at all. Maybe it's been stolen. So I rung my mate up straight away, because I'm a coward. I didn't want to go on my own. So he held the iPad. We drove off. We followed the little dot. But then, when we got close, the dot started moving. So we have to follow the dot.
Right.
The dot gets on the M3, and we're following the dot on the M3.
Right.
And we travel for about 40 miles.
But Nicola could have noticed you in the rear-view mirror, saying, I'm being followed by two weird men.
I think you'll find on motorways you're often followed by the same car for quite a while. How paranoid are you? He's been behind us for the last 5 minutes. We're on a motorway, David. I know, but something's not right. There's one beside me now. I wasn't right behind it because the dot was moving and I was chasing the dot for a long time. When we were probably about 5 miles away from the dot, because the dot was racing off ahead, we raced after, stopped, and we sussed out that it was a service station on the M3. So we pulled into the service station, and that's when the next thing happened. Give me a minute.
How could you tell which of the many cars parked in the service station?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
I wish I had a very good answer. I phoned the phone.
Ah, very clever.
And it's at that point we see a woman getting out of a car, looking confused, and then looking inside a bag, a shopping bag, takes the phone out. And at this point I think, that's my phone. And she looks innocent because she's looking all confused. To which I go over, I say, that's my phone. And she said, I, honest to God, have no idea how it got in there. And then I start thinking the 2-year-old did pick it up and put it in the bag. And so ends the case for the defence.
Right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Nicola Ben's bird botherer, Henning's boring babysitter, or Lee's phone pincher? What do you think?
I've got a funny feeling about the crows.
Yeah, I love the idea that you're spending your free time wiggling your head in front of a crow, talking in a high-pitched voice.
So, sorry, you two are leaning towards believing the crows. I'm finding the crow story the least convincing at the moment. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Do you believe Lee?
As a matter of principle, no. I think it's probably Henning. I think Henning's could have been the sort of vicious little child who would have her babysitter summarily dismissed for no good reason at all.
Which way are you going, Alex?
Do you know what? I'm going to stick my neck on the line. I think Lee.
I even
You
getting
think
a
it's
look
Lee?
in?
Yeah.
Doon?
I initially thought it was Lee, completely from the very beginning when I heard what the 3 things were. I went, it's definitely Lee.
I'm not going to overrule. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Henning. We'll go for Lee.
You're saying it's Lee
Yeah.
with a little suspicion that it's Henning. OK.
Right.
Nicola, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Nicola, and I taught Ben how to talk to crows.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Please welcome this week's special guest, Nicola. So, Ben, first of all, what is Nicola to you?
This is Nicola, and she taught me how to talk to crows.
Henning, how do you know Nicola?
This is Nicola, and I told my parents to take her as my babysitter because she failed to read my bedtime stories with enough emotion.
And finally, Lee, your relationship with Nicola.
This is Nicola. I once chased her for 40 miles down the M3 because I thought she'd stolen my phone.
David's team, where to begin?
So, Ben, why did you need to talk to crows?
Because, well, I'm writing a book,